In the Sesshin reminder, there is two basic factors which I want to bring into the visibility, awareness, which can be very significant. In fact, one of the next series of talks which we are planning now is about the recognition of the urgency for human beings to take the initiative and individual responsibility to live the understanding, the goodness, the intelligence in a loving and creative way, so that there is really a future possible for humanity, so that the humanity can really survive. This is the hope, this is the chance, and this is what is individually required. So the reminders are both going in that direction, that this what is very urgent, very important, very decisive for individual as well as for the global process gets considered and lived. The reminders are playful ways of bringing a quality of disentanglement from the inner automatism, so that it becomes possible to connect directly and deeply to the reality, to yourself, and to the wholeness of the situation. And as I have been often mentioning, many of you are also aware of this, that there are factors working in everyone which are part of the natural survival process which is given, especially in the first period of the human existence, that till one is capable of deeper understanding and living that quality of consciousness, that there is a certain automatism working. And this automatism, which is at first necessary and a help, also becomes a barrier, an entanglement, and turns out to be destructive and self-destructive. And this is what mostly it is not considered or understood. I am calling them PADS because PADS is an abbreviation for Program of Automatic Defense System. Gurdjieff used to refer to it as the Kunda buffer, but it is the same orientation, the same understanding, that we have to bring attention to this tendency in us to avoid the confrontation of that what is disturbing our status quo. For a child, for the survival, it is important, it is valuable, because that is how one gets along in the beginning. But as our capacity for growing and developing, and our capacity of using the knowledge, the power, and our potential grows and increases, the same unconscious, automatic way of going about life becomes a problem. It is like putting the autopilot in the car, which at certain situations can be even very valuable, But you cannot completely leave it to it and let this artificial intelligence, which is with all its capacity having its limitation, to overtake and decide everything for you. So you have to be present, you have to look. And that is how one becomes capable of using this autopilot in the right way, when you are present and observing. Something similar in a more subtle and deep way is what has to happen inside, that one needs to be aware that the inner automatism has to be made more conscious to oneself, and that one needs to be in touch with it in every interaction. Without that, it starts going in its very limited way, in its tendency to protect and hold to the status quo, to the old settlements, to the old roles, which is not coming from your intelligence, which is not coming from your real understanding. It is not coming from the sensibility of your heart. So in order to live your fullness of life, you have to learn to consciously disentangle yourself and apply from situation to situation the knowledge what you have in a careful way, in an intelligent way, in a wakeful way, so that it is really not just cleverness but intelligence in a deeper sense. So the two reminders are very simple. One reminder is that whenever you are in a new situation or meeting someone and any kind of interaction is taking place, ask yourself the question, am I allowing my understanding of the urgency to live the capacity of intelligence and consciousness, the capacity of understanding and love, the potential of goodness and creativity, really bringing into living? Because this is a question you are putting to yourself. It is not just trying to do something or trying to brush away from the situation. It is asking yourself the question, am I really taking the initiative? Am I really looking? Am I really confronting? Am I ready? Am I recognizing the urgency? So this questioning is very, very important. You are in a situation, things are happening, but first ask yourself, am I willing? Am I ready? Is there a tendency to avoid this? Is there a tendency to again go around so that one is holding to the old settlement, old situation, old role, and not wanting to get touched? This is very, very important, that you let that what is going on in you become transparent to yourself. Because it's not just answering to anybody else. It is not some kind of making a show to anybody that you are doing this or you are doing that. It is simply being in deeper touch with that what is going on in you, so that you can live the best what is possible for you, so that you can live the potential of understanding and love which you carry in you actually in your life? So this is the first reminder. Ask yourself the question, am I really ready to recognize the urgency and applying my understanding to live this quality of love, this quality of intelligence, this potential of goodness, what I carry in me. Because it is this goodness and intelligence lived lovingly in a conscious basis what is the real hope, what is the real chance for the humanity, individually and globally. Otherwise, you are living in a world where it is full of all kind of conflicts, misunderstandings, one-sided way of going about life, and so much destructive process is going on. But the destructive process is going on because there is not the right understanding. There is not the real insight. So just fighting darkness with guns is not an answer. You have to bring your understanding, you have to bring the light of consciousness, you have to see, and you can only start with yourself. So it is not just only a small reminder you do and leave it aside. It is something when you understand and practice, you can realize it has far-reaching effects. And to put it in another way, this is the way you begin to take responsibility as a human being. This is the way you go beyond the childhood state of human development into a grown-up who sees the responsibility and lives it. I have been sometimes giving this indication that perhaps it will be good to have either another series of talks or bring out some booklets or book with the title Consider the Creator Compassionately. Considering the Creator compassionately means that you are open to look more deeply rather than just reacting blindly and see that life, the creation, the whole manifestation of the life process, your body, your capacities, the fellow human beings, all the other living beings, the whole nature, the whole cosmos, the more you consider, the more you realize what deep intelligence is behind it, what deep care is behind it. So it is taking responsibility to understand the blessing that you have. And naturally, you will see that when you are understanding it in the right way, spontaneously there comes a quality of deep joy and gratitude. So I don't want to go too much into what happens, but I just give you the indication. It is enabling you to live the potential of your intelligence, your joy and your love authentically and deeply. The second reminder is very much connected with this. It is emphasizing, in the first questioning, you're emphasizing am I recognizing the urgency and applying it? And in the second questioning, which is like, you can do it alternatively. If you are having many meetings during the day or different occasions where you are coming across new encounters, you ask yourself, am I also bringing the attention now to what is taking place in me? You are understanding many things, you know about it, but to ask yourself, am I really looking at everything what is going on in me now? Am I really allowing it? Is it really happening now? You are just putting the question. You are not trying to make an image of yourself. You are not trying to put yourself in a box, but you are using your mind to question. And that is what very good use of the mind is, when you use it for questioning, but then let that what comes become conscious to you, visible to you. You are not trying to answer it some kind of clever way. You are not trying to make some kind of fixed reaction to it. It is much more that, am I really looking now? Because looking now means being open, being vulnerable to let all what is undercurrently going on in oneself, without choosing one against the other, without interfering in any way. And this can happen when you also bring the attention in this playful way. And this is together with your deep inner determination to live the potential which you have, the capacity which you have, as energetically, as wholeheartedly as you can. So, both these reminders are very close to each other, very similar to each other, but yet there is a different emphasis. So, at least apply both of them alternatively in different encounters during the day, 5 times each. That means, first, the question about the urgency. The second, the question about the application in the next encounter. And then again, in the third encounter, the question about the urgency and the recognition of it. And in the fourth encounter, again, bring the attention to, is it happening now? Am I allowing it now? So, it is bringing the orientation very energetically and deeply, so that it becomes a deepening of the remembrance. And all that what you need is this deep remembrance. That is why the great Russian mystic George Ivanovich Gurdjieff, whom I have been referring to when it was about the kundaba for the pads, he used an expression, self-remembrance. And this is the understanding of all those who have been going deeper, and it is indicated in different ways in different teachings, but remembering to be in touch with that what is now. To be with the moment, to be with yourself, to be with the reality is to connect to the sacredness of life. That is why it is so valuable. So work with these reminders as carefully, as deeply, as wholeheartedly and playfully, so that it is not becoming a struggle or attempt to prove anything to anybody. It's not trying to polish the image and make something to anybody else, but see the point and bring it gracefully into living.